all about the sun. The sun represents the god, the male spirit of the all. Like the sun's energy, his is bright, vibrant, powerful, and protecting. He allows the plants to grow, warms the earth, and provides the earth and all her creatures and crucial nutrients. As you know, there are many more hours of daylight during the summer than in the winter. Summer days are longer because Earth's axis, the imaginary pole on which Earth spins, tilts a little in relation to the plane of Earth's orbit around the Sun. The fact that Earth is tipped in this manner actually causes the seasons and causes there to be a longest day of the year and a shortest day. Because Wicca is a nature-based religion, each of these changes, the heralds of the shifts of the season, is honored. What are the Sabbats? The Sabbats are holidays on which Wiccans celebrate the male energy of the all, which is represented by the god and the sun. These are days of celebration of the god, just the way the Asbats, as discussed in earlier lecture, are celebrations of the goddess. There are 8 Sabbats. Unlike human-made holidays, the Sabbats are naturally occurring events. They mark the equinoxes, the 2 days a year when daytime and nighttime are of equal duration. The Sabbats also include the longest day of the year, the longest night of the year, known as solstices, and the midpoints between these 4 occurrences, as the Lord and Lady travel the wheel of the year. In Wicca, the year is seen as a turning wheel. Once it has completed a rotation, it keeps going and spins around again and again. The Lord and Lady as manifestations of the all play a major part in this continuous cycle. Many Wiccans look at the year as the repeating story of the Lord and Lady. Although Samhain is the Wiccan New Year, let's start with Yule. Here's a quick tour of the wheel of the year. At Yule, which occurs at the time of the winter solstice in December, the lady gives birth to the Lord and rests from her labor. At Imbolc, in February, the Lord is seen as a small boy, and the lady recovers from giving birth. Ostara marks the first day of spring and the awakening of the earth. At this time, the Lord is seen as a growing youth. At Beltane, the Lord has grown to manhood. He falls in love with the lady, and they unite, producing the bounty of nature. The lady becomes pregnant by the Lord. The summer solstice is the point in midsummer when everything in nature is at its peak, growing and lush. The Lord and the Lady are both at the height of their power. Lanaseth is the day in August of the first harvest. The first grains are cut, and the Lord begins to weaken. At Mabon, the second harvest, the Lord is coming to his end. The days grow shorter, and earth readies for the slumber of winter. At Samhain, in October, the Lord dies, only to be reborn of the Lady again at Yule. When the Lord is born at Yule, he is the incarnation of the God of light. From Yule onward, the daylight hours will be longer and longer until the summer solstice, when the balance tips the other way. After the summer solstice, as the days begin to grow shorter, he becomes the dark god. At that point, The shortening of the days heralds his coming death. Quartering the year. Greater and lesser Sabbats. The lesser or minor Sabbats, which sometimes are also called fire festivals, occur at the quarters of the year. They include the vernal or spring equinox, the fall or autumn equinox, and the summer and the winter solstices. The greater or major Sabbats, Samhain, Imbolc, Beltane, and Lunasad, occur at the cross quarters, the midpoints between solstice and equinox. They mark the turning of the seasons and are considered to be very powerful days in and of themselves. Midpoints are considered to be times of great power because most things in nature reach the peak of their strength when they are in the middle of their lives. Here are some dates you can put in your planner. Because the summer and winter solstices and the autumn and spring equinoxes are actual astrological events, and because the calendar that we follow was made up to approximate natural events in a standardized way, the dates of these events vary from year to year. To find the actual date of the solstices or the equinoxes for a given year, consult a witch's calendar or an almanac. Natural versus human-made holidays. The Sabbats mark actual events in nature, and people have marked these events since megalithic times. The boulders of Stonehenge form alignments with both the spring and autumn equinoxes and the winter and summer solstices. People in ancient China, Egypt, and Peru also have left markers of these natural events. Human-made holidays are celebrations that occur on certain dates because people decided to celebrate on that day, such as the 4th of July, Labor Day, and Thanksgiving. There are no naturally occurring events underneath the trappings of these festivities. The celebrations that people decide to engage in on such dates are the events themselves. Celebrating the Sabbats helps to keep you in tune with nature and the cycles of the Earth's seasons. Living in cities, as many of us do, often leaves people feeling cut off from the cyclical nature of life. Observing the Sabbats can aid you in realigning your rhythms and energies with the natural forces of the earth.